Hiya folks, this is KARL-JAMES LANGFORD again. I'll try and keep this to 10 minutes tonight, but there's been a big response to yesterday's recording about Roman roads and the meaning of what exactly a Roman road is, and I made some statements along the line that most roads that are referred to as Roman roads in Britain are in fact trackways that have been there for many, many generations. Just something else that people have responded to is a little bit of a poll I've put out there, and I think 17 people have responded to that poll, or I can't remember the figures, but most people want me to talk about archaeological sites. So that's something that I will be doing, and something that I've been doing for quite some years. But because we're doing a regular recording, and some of you guys are looking out for this recording, we will look at some more sites and detail about them, me going out and about. There's a site that I want to go out, which is very local to me, and that will remain a mystery until I do a video on it. So let's see. Anyway, I've been thinking good and hard today whilst I've been at work, and thinking about my book on Romans in South Wales. And I'll mention, if anyone wants to buy a copy of the book, Romans in South Wales, there's a PayPal link below in the comment, in the information thing. And you can also get it at Etsy, eBay, Nickleby's bookstore, Aberystwyth bookshop, and Cornelli hardware store, and Killeen Leisure Museum. So there's 4 places you can still get it for now, until that's out of print. Anyway, I was thinking today about the Julius Maritima, which goes through the Vale of Glamorgan, and from Cardiff all the way through to Pyle, and then we lose it. Don't forget the location Pyle for now. So I've just got to make sure I remember that one. And also I want to sort of jump in towards the end of this and mention something about Gaer, Brecon, Roman military fort. Okay. So Julius Maritima, when I was a child, I was fascinated by the Julius Maritima. And I would often take people to see the alignment of the Julius Maritima at St. Hilary. That is from the A48. There used to be the old place of the Mulligans, up the downs there, back down Primrose Hill, as they call it, and then that leads into Cowbridge. Well, that bit of road, you can't really drive the full length anymore. In fact, you can't, because it's blocked off at the top. It became overgrown at the end of the 1980s. But I can remember my granddad, Noah, who used to take me to lots of places. We used to drive from the bottom of St. Hilary down. We used to drive all the way to the top, to the clump of trees at the top, the hanging trees we call them. And then we used to drive all the way back down Primrose Hill. But probably by somewhere in the 1990s, you couldn't use it anymore. It was a really bad road surface. There's a few points to be made here. When I used to go there, and up until the beginning of the year and last year, we were operating ghost walks there as well. And one of the things I would say would be, I would talk about the Roman road. However, when people talk about the Roman road at St. Hilary, they say this is the best stretch of Roman road because it's straight. You know, it leaves the A48 and it goes straight line, then it goes back over again, back on the other side. Now, there's another alignment of road that leads into that when you get to the clump, and it sort of goes down to St. Hilary, but that's another story. And I've remarked many times that the ditch on the southern side is actually the original drainage ditch. It's not actually true. It can't be, because it looks like it's been cleaned out and sort of it's a lot deeper than it should be, and so on. Anyway, the point is that there's no evidence of a road surface there at all. Nothing. It's solid rock. So there's another point to be made here. Is that road? It was there originally a Roman road surface there, and I would say no. And this is somebody, me, who has taken groups of people to research Julius Maritima many, many times. And one thing that I would usually say is that large tracts of the A48 have huge green swaths alongside them, right? There's big sort of, there's big corridors of grass alongside them, which is strange. Why isn't that farmland? You know what's going on. And what I used to say, and this is one thing I do believe, is that over the years, the road surface has migrated. It's basically a dirt track, and that's probably what it was in the Roman era as well. AD 100, AD 200, it was basically a dirt track. And when the surface wore down, they would just simply move the road alongside. And then when that got worn down alongside, and eventually you've got the A48 alignment as it is today. So that A48 alignment is not actually following the original course of, or what? It's following the original, sort of close to the original alignment, but it's not actually directly built upon, in most of it, the Roman road, you know. So because basically the alignment of the Roman road, which is a dirt track, is sort of is within the sort of green corridor alongside, or there. So it's migrated. And one of the points is at St. Nicholas, basically opposite the entrance to Cotterell Park, there's a big standing stone, right? Now that standing stone has been moved, right? And that standing stone probably marked an old trackway alignment. There's no carvings on it, so it could be from any date. Probably really old stone. And actually, to be honest with you, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew tonight, because Julius Maritima, you know, I'm only touching the surface of what I wanted to say. When they've excavated 1977, actually, alongside where the Swansea Building Society is, it become the Yorkshire Building Society. Where they excavated there was some buildings that they excavated, but that fronted a road surface, but it wasn't cobbled. It wasn't substantial stonework, right? It was just basically a gravel track, which could be from any period. Now, I did promise something about a Gaer, but I want to try and keep this to 10 minutes tonight. But one thing I would say is that as an archaeologist doing, it was a field evaluation, I was asked in the year 2013 by a local developer to check out land at Pyle to see if there was any sign of a Roman road alignment. And there was nothing. I got the digger to dig 15 holes across the site. There was nothing there at all. There was talk of an alignment of a Roman road, but there's nothing. And you know, I've actually physically looked. You know, we had a digger on site. We dug all these holes everywhere, and there was nothing. There was nothing on site at all. Right, and then the Glamorgan Grant Archaeological Trust basically, more or less, rejected my report because I hadn't found the road surface. Now, if you've got 5 holes there, 5 holes there, and 5 holes there, right? And we can't find anything, right? You know, it wasn't possible that we missed it, right? And there was no evidence of anything, and whether it was there or whatever. But anyway, the point is that this elusive road surface, I've excavated at Margam as well, at Margam Park. It's part of a project for Neath and Port Talbot County Council, but we won't go there. But there was nothing. We didn't find anything. There was no road surface, no nothing. And they were saying, oh, there's a Roman road here. But you don't find anything. I've excavated these areas. We also looked at a site near if I get this right, the Red Hill roundabout as you leave Bridgend, heading towards Porthcawl. In the alignment there, there's hedgerows of where an old road used to be. Well, we did find something, but it was just solid bedrock. And we thought, right, okay, right, this is solid bedrock. And you're thinking, where is this Roman road? Anyway, oh, actually, do you know what? We'll come back to Roman roads again, right? But I'm going to do something else tomorrow because you'll be Roman roaded out. But I just want to say one thing before I finish. When you go to the Roman fort at Gaer, right? Don't sort of say that it's not built by the Roman military, right? Because it clearly is. However, it was. If you look at the site, if you look at it, right, there's one gateway that basically, there's a gateway there and it just drops down like this. And you're thinking, that don't make sense. Oh, and if you look at the maps and so on, it says that you go through the fort and you go down a massive gradient like this and it comes out the other side. Who comes up with this nonsense? Because if you've got a road that goes like this, right, you can't use it. It's not a road, right? So basically, it was the principal idea that you had 4 gateways. And whatever alignment, I don't really care about alignments, right? Whether it's south, north, east, east, west, or whatever, right? There were 4 gateways. They weren't always aligned either. You might have sort of one sort of here and one sort of here and whatever. They weren't usually sort of running parallel or adjacent to each other, right? But you find this with you find this with Hadrian's Wall. Do you get gateways and the road and it just drops and there's nothing. So, and if you plan alignments of supposed Roman roads from gateways that just go down a sheer drop, you might be able to plot them on a sort of a map, but there was no road there. There may have been roads going into it from that direction, but it didn't continue. Anyway, food for thought. Don't mind criticism, right? Ideas, go, whatever. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. KARL-JAMES Langford. Like and subscribe. Press the bell as well. And there's a link for my Romans in South Wales book down below. Thank you very much.